What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Keep It Kula Podcast. My name is John Kula, and I have a very special guest joining me today. Though he graduated from Carleton University with a degree in law, he pursued a career in sport media instead. Though he is a diehard Oklahoma City Thunder hater, he is also a big-time Toronto sports fan. Host of Sportsnet's Leafs Talk and the host of the JD Bunkis podcast. Give it up for, you guessed it, JD Bunkis. Thanks so much for coming on, JD. How are you, man?
Problem. Good. You were blessed with a good name.
Jacqueline Kula?
Yeah, that sounds great. This is Jacqueline Kula. It rolls off the tongue. Mine is really clunky, so you're off to a great start.
Listen, Kula is like, I love my last name. Like, that's why I called my podcast Keep It Kula. Like, it's a little pretentious maybe, calling it my own name, but...
Yeah, you're talking to someone who has a podcast called the JD Bunkis Podcast, so just chill the fuck out.
Well, but you're already established. I started this off at like 19 with the Keep It Kula podcast. Well, it was originally, I did it with Laurier originally, so it was with a radio station, and then I kind of took it over myself and then made it my name. But we can both share a bit of the pretentious podcast.
Sure. It's all about us.
Before we get into sports, you're a big It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia fan, right? Or
I am. How do you know that?
Are you still a fan? Are you still a big fan?
Of It's Always Sunny?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. I would never have been like, I'm defined by this. Where's this? Who gave you this information?
I was listening to your show, and you mentioned Charlie Kelly talking about the crazy golf fight yesterday.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because the episode where he tries to train to be an underground fighter is one of my favorites.
That is one of the it's my favorite show of all time. It's the funniest show. I have it over Seinfeld. I have it over Curb, which I thought was my favorite at first. Sunny's top. No, but I do a lot of research, and that's something I found your ranking that you had of It's Always Sunny.
It's high.
But of the characters from 2020.
Oh, okay. And, how did I rank them? I'm genuinely curious.
You had D, number 6. You had Cricket over D.
Cricket is better than D.
I have an issue with that.
I stand by that. You know what? That's a take that has stood the test of time. They're all so important to the show. Like, it's kind of almost hard to rank them because the show couldn't exist without D, and Caitlin Olsen is brilliant in her performance. But yeah, I would say that now if I actually had to readjust the rankings, I would put Mac lower simply because he did the weird thing where he's now changed his name to Rob Mack, and he made this post where he's giving weird Ryan Reynolds energy. I'm genuinely concerned for how I'm going to view the final season, knowing Mac has become a version of, potentially anyways, something he used to parody. So I'm scared. I'm really scared.
Did you watch last night's?
No, so I made a pack. My brother's coming into town this week, I guess it's Thursday. So this following Thursday.
Next week. Yeah, I watch it with my family. I won't watch it alone. It's a family show when you're over the age of 20, though. I would say you can't be young. I started late though.
Wow, you thought that you couldn't be under 20 and watch It's Always Sunny
as a family show.
Okay.
Like I couldn't be 12 years old watching It's Always Sunny with my parents.
Yeah, but you could have been 17. You could have been 16.
Oh yeah, I would say anything over 16, I would have watched that. But now as an adult, it's totally fine. But last night in the credits, it opens up with the credits. It says created by Rob Mack.
Yeah,
I want to close the TV. It was off to an interesting start this season. Like obviously the golden years are like what would you say is like some of like the best seasons?
So I remember like being genuinely terrified of Danny DeVito coming into the cast because I thought it was gonna screw it up. And so to me, like,
wait, you were a fan in season 1? Like you watched it from the beginning?
Yeah.
I was 3 years old when it came out.
I was in university. So I remember when it came out. I don't know if it was like the actual year 1 of it, but I do remember it being, I think it was Breaking Bad and Sunny were on the same channel, but I don't think we had FX. I think it was something like, maybe it was on A&E or something like that. I don't know, but I loved it. I just thought it was gritty. I thought it was hilarious. There's just so many that I love from the outset. So I think that there's probably 1 through 6 or 7 where it's just top notch, but they still hit on one every once in a while. Sure. That's like a true blue banger. Like I think it was fairly recent, the episode where they get sucked into the timeshare scams.
Oh, yeah, that was like a season like 9, 8.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that one hit for me where I'm like,
good.
okay, this is later and this is still working. It's gotten a little bit crazier, but even still, over the years, I would still say nothing hit quite like those first 2 seasons. Like the introductory to Danny DeVito's character, him working out, whatever season it was with the snail.
Gail the Snail,
Yeah.
season 5. It was season
Yeah,
5.
so that I think is where they like fully found their like perfect rhythm as a show, and it was at
Yeah.
its very best. So yeah, I'll
No.
say seasons 1 through 5 then.
Season 5 is my favorite. However, I think it was season 9 when the gang broke D. When
Yeah.
they pranked her into thinking she was a comedian. That is the craziest stuff. When I first watched it, I was so upset because it was just the greatest episode. And
Yeah, it's a great one.
Okay, this is probably just me, but when I watch the Blue Jays and I see George Springer, I see Rob McElhenney. Is that just me?
Yeah, that's just you. I don't see it at
Okay,
all.
I have convinced every single person who watches a game with me that he looks just like Rob Mack. And I can't believe I just said it, Rob Mack.
Yeah, you did it.
Have to look at a side by side. They are identical. So every time I see
I'll
Springer-
try, but I'm picturing them in my mind's eye, and
So maybe
I
like
can't
a
see it.
Barger Springer mixture gives off a little bit of Mac, like young Mac. I'm not talking about this Mac.
Okay.
I'm not talking about
Okay.
like season 17, like Ryan Reynolds S Mac. I'm talking about like gritty, the ripped tank tops Mac. Looks
Yeah,
like
okay.
looks like Springer, but yeah. So I'm disagree with you on D though. D's my favorite
Okay.
character.
he's your favorite. That's
He will
you
be
just you're doing like girl power stuff. So
and I
D over Charlie or Dennis is to me number 1. Is
Okay,
that
so-
my original ranking?
yeah, I think you here. I think I took a screenshot of it when I saw it.
Because Dennis is 1.
You
There's
had
just no-
Dennis,
yeah.
Frank, Charlie, Cricket, Mac, D.
I do love cricket.
No, Cricket has grown on me so much.
Yeah.
I didn't think I would love him when I first watched him, but
Yeah.
now anytime you see him, his
know.
face is way more messed up
know.
than the next episode.
That's it. They do such a good job at making cricket worse and worse and worse. Yeah,
so funny, man.
I stand by those rankings, although I think that there's a little bit of resentment for Charlie in those rankings simply because Charlie, same thing where it was, to me, he's your like introductory character. He's
Yeah.
what gets you into the show.
Yeah.
And then as you watch it over the course of its lifetime, I think Dennis is the most consistently great.
Dennis,
There's no better line in the show or scene than Dennis with "because of the implication."
oh God,
There's
every guy loves that scene. It's such a guy.
it's the
scene.
funniest thing. It's the funniest line. It's like I'm still not getting it because of the implication. So
my God.
I'll have Dennis 1. I'll still
Okay.
put Charlie 2, and I'll put Frank 3. I'll readjust and put Kalen Olsen ahead of Rob Mack. That's but I can't bump Cricket down.
Cricket. Oh my God. No, well, listen, I respect a ranking. I respect anyone who watches Sunny because it's such a crazy ass niche show. Like, growing up, I always thought it was some sort of like daytime Hot in Cleveland-esque show. I never gave it a chance.
Okay.
Like, I'm not even kidding. I would see it on
Yeah.
commercials. I'm like, this doesn't look like, it just seems like some like daytime show.
This is our generation gap right here.
It's the
that
Gen
you
Z.
looked at this, Gen Z versus millennials is
Yeah.
like to us it was not a niche show. It like exploded probably by right around probably season 4 or 5. It became
Yeah.
like everybody watches this show. So people were late to it. Same thing with Breaking Bad. It was like people were late to
Yeah.
it, and then it came out on Netflix, and all of a sudden everybody started watching it. And so those two, I think, have very similar parallels that way. But yeah, I'm glad you found it. I'm glad that Gen Z still appreciates that kind of humor because you guys are the offended generation. So
I don't know if everyone would. Like, I've tried showing some friends and they just like don't get it. So
Yeah.
maybe, but like I grew up on Family Guy too. Like like I started watching Family Guy when I was like 7 or 8. Honestly, like
Okay.
I've been watching Curb for years as
So
well.
you have good parents, is what you're
I
saying.
have
right?
my
Yeah.
parents introduced me to good
Yeah.
TV immediately.
Oh, that's so encouraging to hear.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
like, you
it's-
gotta have parents who introduce you to the good television shows and don't
Yeah.
raise you on terrible comedy series and try to be like Modern Family is what's funny. You're like,
I
no.
loved Modern Family until like season 5 though.
Yeah,
And then I went
Modern
downhill.
Family had the hardest fall off of any show in the history of shows.
It's so no. Last night it was like there was an episode on like it was season 11, and I turned it off. But if it was like 1 to 4, I would keep it on because I
Is
liked
the
it.
old guy still alive?
Yeah,
Al Bundy?
Jay,
He's still
he's
alive?
killing it,
All right,
man.
yeah, it's
He's
good to know.
killing
It's
it.
good to know that Al Bundy's still alive.
He's killing it, man. Okay, we can talk a little bit about sports now. However,
Yeah,
I
okay.
would love to just talk about Sunny, man, because
Sure.
but I love that's what you do in your podcast too. Like you have a lot of it's a lot of personality, right? You're not here just to talk about sports 24/7, and one of your episodes, I think it was yesterday, talking about you're looking for a tennis club and you're trying to play tennis, and like I like that, which I started playing tennis last year actually. So I do have a coach for you if you want to come a little deeper into the GTA, not really downtown, but I have a coach if you want.
Okay, this is a better start than I've gotten from other people's advice. So yeah, maybe.
And I've improved a lot.
Yep.
Like I'll talk highly of myself. I think I'm pretty good at tennis now.
Okay.
But just, whatever. I'm not I'm not going to post videos of me playing tennis yet, but eventually I might.
Eventually you will. Yeah.
Eventually I will. All right. Let's talk a little bit about the Jays first.
Okay.
I had a ton of stuff, man. You were at a Canada Day game, right? Or sorry, one of the Yankees Jays games.
Yeah, I didn't go to the Canada game. I went to the comeback game where they ended up beating them late. Yankees, they had 8-0 lead.
Oh yeah.
Yankees storm back. Davis Schneider hits a bomb, makes it 9-7. Then Aaron Judge hits a bomb, 9-9. And then, thank God the Blue Jays end up winning that baseball game because, that would have been hell for me. I was sitting in a section with a lot of Yankees fans, and I talked a lot of trash. So I was glad to get out of there with the win.
Yeah, I was there on Canada Day. I got my Vladdy jersey right there. I'm flexing that a little bit. It was, George Springer, man. However, I didn't talk about it on my podcast, but when George Springer hit the grand slam, I actually tore something in my chest, and I was in the emergency room that night.
What?
Can you believe that? Something happened. It's like so rare, so cheer, but I was in the hospital for like 11 hours.
Like a fist pump?
No, I was just cheering. Like I was celebrating, and then I felt my
I like
throat.
how I'm like, did you do a fist pump? And then you went, no, I just was cheering, and then you did a fist pump as you were doing the breakdown of how you got hurt.
I think, okay, yeah, so maybe I did a little bit, but I was just cheering, and then my throat got a little weird, and then later that night, like I was fine for the rest of the game. I was vibing, I was having a great time, and then my chest started hurting me, and then found out I had something rare, and I had too much air in my chest, but it's healing itself, so I'm fine, but yeah,
great. I'm a hypochondriac, and I didn't need a new thing to think about where I'm going to be like, oh my God, do I have that chest air bubble?
No, I'm the biggest hypochondriac, but this is something super rare that doesn't happen to people. It's spontaneous. It won't happen from just cheering.
Maybe you're too brittle for tennis, honestly. Like you should maybe just chill out.
I haven't played tennis in a while because of it. I've been
maybe pickleball is more your speed. Or ping pong.
Don't ever say that to me, JD, man. I have a lot of respect for you and your hot takes.
Okay.
But please never tell me to play pickleball, man.
I'm worried for your health.
As a tennis fan, though, you have the newer guy playing tennis. Do you hate pickleball now?
No, I'm being dead serious when I say I needed to go the tennis route, or I need to go the tennis route because I already play disc golf instead of actual golf. And I thought you would be way too weird if the racket sport you choose is pickleball and that the sports you enjoy right now as you get older are disc golf and pickleball. It's like I have some pride. I feel some shame. Yeah. So I had to have a real sport, a real anchor sport as I give up on the games that I'm now slowly getting worse at.
No, tennis is like, you can pick it up at any age, so I believe in you. But no, I'm fine. The chesting's fine. It's just more of a cool story now because it happened at the Grand Slam. And, even being in the hospital for 11 hours, I said it's worth it because I got to win it.
But, okay.
It was. What? If listen, it was a small tear. If it was a big one, I could have died. But right now, I'm chilling. I'm happy with.
Okay. I'm glad you're alive. I'm glad we're doing this.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But anyways, great series, man. And the Jays were on a 10-game winning streak, obviously, until yesterday. A lot of overreactions, I would say, yesterday. Or do people have the right to be very angry with Vladdy with the way he's been performing and his mistakes yesterday?
So I did this on my show today. Yeah. I've been feeling the Vladdy bubble for a while amongst fans, and not just like, I think online is usually pretty toxic, both from a positive and negative standpoint. Mm-hmm. You've got the people who are like, if you don't cheer for the Blue Jays in all situations, then you shouldn't cheer for the team at all. It's like this weird policing that the online community tries to do that I don't understand whatsoever. But to the inverse of that, I hate the negative person equally as much, the one who finds a flaw with every single thing, or if like the Blue Jays win, they automatically are like, yeah, but Atkins, and you're like, just enjoy the baseball game.
Yeah.
Sports are supposed to be a roller coaster ride. Sometimes you're supposed to be frustrated with a player, and sometimes you get stoked on a player. Like there's not one time where, And I do think that a lot of this has to do with the social media era where you put out a tweet and then some people believe it's like a permanent record rather than just what you were feeling in a moment. There's 162 games in a baseball season. There's 82 in hockey and soon to be 84, 82 in an NBA season, 17 in the NFL schedule. You're not supposed to have a consistent feel the entire way through. So with Vladdy, he's probably going to get hotter at some point. We've seen this from the player before. But yeah, you can understand why someone who's the face of the franchise and who makes $500 million now on his next deal, OPSing 820 and having tough games where he costs the team a win becomes the subject of ire for fans. So I don't blame people who are frustrated with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. What I would say is he hasn't even begun the new deal. So if you want to start litigating he's not worth 500 million, I think that's pretty foolish. There's no way he's going to live up to 500 million. No one's going to live up to 500 million. Like, you know, Rafael Devers just got traded on a deal that we thought was a sweetheart in terms of comparing it to Vladdy. And around baseball, it was viewed as a bad contract. Juan Soto's making 750 million. Nobody thinks that's a good contract.
No.
So Vladdy's is an overpay, obviously, because he's a 26-year-old all-star who is a marketable player and a face of a franchise. So he gets his money. And so I don't need him to, you know, OPS 1,000 and be MVP or a runner-up every single season to justify the contract. I think that for him, a lot of it is going to be ancillary values where you go, all right, if he's here, that means that they're going to be competitive. That means that they're going to start spending more money. That means that they want to build around this guy, that they want to be in contention for playoff series and divisional banners. Vladdy represents more in that signing than simply what he does as a player. And until he costs the Blue Jays another piece where we get reporting, right? Say Shai writes a piece or Blair writes a piece one day that goes, the Blue Jays just did not pursue free agent X because the Vladimir Guerrero Jr. contract is causing issues with the team budget. Then I don't really know what the griping is with the contract. What I will say about the player himself, the team is humming right now. And
playing their best in 10 years. Their best they've played in 10 years.
Exactly. And they're getting all these performances from players that are well above expectation. Ernie Clement, well above expectation. Nathan Lucas, well above expectation. George Springer, well above expectation. I would say Alejandro Kirk, even though people liked him, above expectation, especially given how much he's caught this season. You know, you go up and down the roster, and the three guys who have not surpassed their value are the three bats that were supposed to basically be the face of this team in Bo, Vladdy, and Santander. So in a game like that where the winning streak ends and it's because your star player hits into a double play, makes a mistake on two mistakes on the base paths, and doesn't come up in some big moments to drive in some runs, I don't mind if fans are pissed off at that, and I don't think anybody should. It's like, Vladdy's going to eat it a little bit right now from some people. They're going to groan and they're going to grumble and they're going to mention the money and they're going to say he's got to do better. And he would probably agree in an honest moment that he has to be better. And so I think
when the guys are playing their very best that they have, we need one clutch moment from him and we're not getting it.
Well, that's it. It's like if you look at this team and how well they're performing, if you want them to win a World Series or you even just want them to win some playoff series.
I want the World Series. I don't care about playoffs.
Sure. But as of right now, they haven't won a playoff series since 2016, right? So it's almost a decade since it's happened. It's been the entire Shapiro-Atkins era, essentially, like no playoff victories. And so you're probably not going to be able to accomplish that without Vladdy performing better, right? Like if you're facing the Detroit Tigers and it's Tarek Skubal, are you going to be hoping that it's Nathan Lucas or Davis Schneider or Ernie Clement that's coming up with big moments for you? Or is it Vladdy? Like, no, there's a reason why he's paid that kind of money. So in games like that, where it's a bit of a stress test, you want to see your star come through. He didn't in that moment. And so I think that some of the frustrations of what has been a pretty, I would say, underwhelming year. Like he's 820 OPS right now?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it hasn't been great. He's done some other good things, but ultimately you're paid to be a star, and with that can come the criticism of when you don't play like a star, you get you get fan ire. So I don't know. I don't think again, to answer your question has been so long-winded, but I think that you're overreacting if you're judging the contract.
Yeah.
I think if you're disappointed with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. right now, you're just doing normal fan behavior.
Got you. And speaking of another star that we thought was going to perform a little better than he has, Max Scherzer, obviously has been hurt this entire year, and he's still here. He's supposed to start tomorrow. Are we going to see a full game from him, or is this just going to be a cycle all year where his thumb is going to start acting up in the fourth inning or so?
Listen, you're how old are you?
23.
Yeah, and you tore your chest and you're like, fine.
Yeah.
Like, that's nice.
Yeah.
I'm old.
Mine was very minor. Hold on. It could have been a lot of worse.
Sure, but I'm just no, but no. But what I'm saying is that you're going to heal quickly.
Yeah.
And it's all going to be fine because you're 23. Like you just said, it's healing on its own. The doctors aren't even looking at you. They're like, get out of here. Yeah, you almost died. Who cares? Get out of here, you little kid. So Scherzer is 41.
Yeah. 40, 41, 42. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. He's old, and he's got a bad thumb. He's done. It's over. I'm sorry. It's done.
We're not going to get one game of him.
Well, I think we've already gotten the one game. We got the Yankees game where he pitched, 5 innings?
5 innings, yeah.
Yeah, you're not, first of all, starters these days aren't going 7, 8 anyway.
Yeah,
so it's not like even if he was healthy, that's something that you'd be seeing from him. But no, he's an old guy with a wonky thumb. It's going to be fun to watch him pitch on the days that he can give you a few outs. You're kind of hoping that you can manage him enough that maybe he gives you 4 innings in a playoff game at some point. But no, anybody that's expecting him to get better, like he just took off 2 months to repair the thumb. And he came back, and in his first game, he pulled himself from the ball game and went, yeah, that's it for me. So, yeah, every quote you hear of him, he's like, oh, the extra day really helped. No, he's an old guy. He's never going to be the same. Just enjoy watching a Hall of Famer in a Blue Jays jersey. Whatever you get from him, it's a bonus. No, like the fifth starter of this baseball team, in my eyes, is essentially going to be Eric Lauer. And then they're going to have somebody else come in down the stretch here through the trade deadline that's going to bridge the gap between whatever they're going to get from Scherzer. And again, like I hope he stays healthy enough to pitch, but I'm certainly not banking on it. And everybody that I've talked to is like, yeah, don't count on it.
And that goes into the trade deadline. I don't think we need hitters. You know, I know you've talked a little bit about it, but I think we have some great hitters, and we haven't even seen Santander since April or what? Varsho's been out for a while, one of our hottest guys as well. I'm happy with the hitters we have. I don't want to see a change. Pitching, obviously, we're going to look into. You've talked a little bit about who you want to see. What guys are you confident that the Jays can make a trade for, that they don't have to give up a lot, and who can actually take us far into the playoffs as one of our starters?
So I don't care like you do about not giving up a lot. I know that for a while now we haven't had a great farm system here in Toronto. It was kind of one of the implicit promises of this front office, which was waves of talent and caring about the farm system. But at this point, the American League East and the American League in general are not very strong. The Blue Jays have a ton going for them, and you want to be able to build on that momentum, but also add pieces that are very clear and obvious that they need. They don't need another fourth starting pitcher, right? Like, it's not necessary.
No.
They don't need another bullpen arm that's like a Nick Sandlin type. They need an 8th inning guy or a 9th inning guy. Like, I know Hoffman's been great, but if they end up getting an Emmanuel Clase type or a Johan Duran, I would much prefer that and emptying prospects out than doing some middle ground move where you're adding a 7th inning guy. They need to be going and getting what they did a couple of years ago with Jordan Hicks, where it's, hey, this guy throws 100 miles per hour and he's going to come in late in a ball game and provide you with extreme velo. They need to go get a starting pitcher that could pitch in game 1 of a postseason series without really any conversation about it. So to me, the most exciting names are still on the Texas Rangers in DeGrom and Eovaldi. There's a lot of Joe Ryan talk right now, but that does feel a bit more far-fetched to me, just given that he's under contract and he's young and he's amazing. So, but either way,
DeGrom's already in his 30s, right?
Yeah, DeGrom's an old man. It's
late 30s,
yeah. So, and he's due to make $40 million a season for the next 2 years. So he's super expensive. So maybe the Rangers are willing to pivot and move off that money, knowing that maybe he's not going to be healthy, but he fits the Blue Jays timeline a little better.
What's up?
Yeah, I really want to see them go big. I want to see a 2015 deadline where they get splashy and they add like a David Price and then a bullpen version of whatever Troy Tulowitzki is. The irony of it is that when this front office came here, they were introduced to us as the guys that got mad at Alex Anthopoulos for being hyper-aggressive at a deadline. And now 10 years later, here they are basically in the same position that they're the guy who held the seat before them is in, which is the fan base is clamoring for big-time ads and, to a degree, an emptying of the farm system. So that's where I'm at with it. I'd like to see a high-end starter and a high-end reliever and not sit in the middle and go, I don't want to read an article from some nerd about how this pitcher actually has a lot more to give if he gets the Pete Walker treatment. I want studs.
You want a heavy guy, expensive guy, possibly. Yep. But with hitters though, you're happy with our lineup, or actually not necessarily happy, but what are we gonna do? Like, I know there's so much talk about when Santander and Varsho come out and how it's a great problem to have, as you were talking about. It's a great problem to have, but what do you see the Jays doing when those guys are back and they're healthy?
So I think that Varsho plays every day.
Every day, okay.
And I think Santander plays every day. The question is going to be with Jimenez, whether or not he's in the lineup every single game, especially when it's lefties on the mound, and whether or not they try to make some pivots there. I think it's going to be ultimately fine for the reasons of, Barger, to me, has proven that you need to find creative ways to keep him in the lineup.
Oh, yeah. You can move him around also with positions. He can play anywhere. Right.
But I still like the idea of leading off with the either Lucas or Ernie Clement thing.
Mm-hmm. I'm loving that. That.
But ultimately, when you see the lineups and they've got like Davis Schneider in them, I like what Davis has done this year. He's been a good player, but Anthony Santander has to be better than Davis Schneider. Yeah. Okay, like he has to be better. And as good as Miles Straw has been, Dalton Varsho is a better player and a better hitter, and so I'm not overly concerned about losing Miles Straw games to Dalton Varsho. So some of it's not the biggest problem. I think more so the issue is, what if those guys, when they return, continue to struggle? Like, less so Varsho because, I just think his center field defense and his future with the team, like, he's just going to be super valuable. For a guy like Santander, if he's playing in the outfield and giving you bad defense and then also not raking, when do you get to a point where he's not the everyday player? So, I'm with you. I don't think that they need to add a bat. I also don't think, though, it's the worst idea if it ends up coming cheap and there's someone that you do think is an upgrade that's a more proven player for a postseason series than some of the depth pieces they have. But it's not an area of need. It's more of like, hey, if you get crazy value, jump at it.
Go for it kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah, hitters, I know Josh Naylor was a big name for a while, a little bit.
It doesn't fit for me.
I'm not thank you. I don't see that working here at all.
It works if you don't have Santander, but it doesn't work if you do.
If Santander comes back healthy, which do we even know if he's going to come back, right? We thought he'd come back a lot shorter. I think
he's going to be back at probably the end of this month.
Yeah, which is okay, which is fine. Then he's a little bit rested, and if he performs, then I'd be happy, but then it would be a pretty shitty feeling then if he doesn't perform and then we miss out on
that's right,
on hitters. I want to talk a little about the All-Star game. It's next week. I'm sure you talked a lot about this, but Vladdy made the All-Star and then Kirk as well, and George Springer didn't. And I kind of hold on to these things, and I'm pissed. I'm happy that he's resting, but I'm pissed that Springer did not get the love he deserves.
I don't really care.
You don't care for... I don't care about him playing, but I care about respect.
Sure, but I also think this is a big time. So all sports fan bases do this, where they want respect, right? Like they want respect for their players and acknowledgement. It's sad to see Gen Z has carried the same thing of millennials, where we are just constantly looking for validation from other people.
All the time.
But I don't really care about the All-Star game because I think it's a dying product in general. Like, now everybody has access to every single like cable network. What's the MLB version of this called? Like,
I don't even know.
Like it used to be, I think, home plate or something,
Yeah.
but extra innings, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just have it on my sports pack where it's just
Yeah.
there, and I click on the baseball games. But either
Yeah.
way, you get to see all these players whenever you want. Like I watch most of Paul Skeens' starts. I've
Yeah.
seen, I'll watch Tarek Skubal pitch. So the idea of seeing someone at an All-Star game is not the same as what it used to be when I was a kid in the 90s, where you would get to watch like an NBA All-Star game and see, oh, David Robinson is playing. I don't really watch him. He's not on my cable package ever. I get Bulls games and Sonics games.
Yeah.
So ultimately, I think it's a fun live event to go to. It's a cool thing to have in your city, as people would remember when we had the NHL or the NBA All-Star games here.
Oh,
You get a lot
yeah.
of events. It's great. It's fun. There's a lot of fanfare. But overall, like the acknowledgement for George Springer is going to come from respected baseball circles. The biggest takeaway that I have from this is like there are a lot of people who really only covet the opinions of athletes when it comes to sports. And you're seeing a lot of former player pods, and a lot of them are great. Like I love Jeff Teague's podcast, Club 520. It's awesome.
Hilarious.
I like that a lot of these dudes are like outlandish, and they'll share stories. There's a lot of value add there. But when it comes to actually evaluating some of their peers, they have blind spots just like everybody else. Just like I have a blind spot for appreciating what it takes with a professional at bat because I've never taken one.
Yeah.
They have blind spots when it comes to evaluation of players. And George Springer's a perfect example of that, where it's like Julio Rodriguez got in over Adele and over Springer. And it's because Julio Rodriguez is a name. And when they look at a box, they're like, yeah, this guy's good. I love this guy. And they check his name and they're like, he's an all-star. He's better. And so that's my biggest thing, is that why we need this balance of coverage and input from former players, people who never played the game, people who are numbers dorks, and people who are just, eye test former jocks. I like the idea of the holistic look at it. And when you make an all-star game that has fan vote and then player vote, I actually think that fan vote is usually going to do a better job of telling the story of who's supposed to be at an all-star game than players currently in the game itself. And it's why they shouldn't be dictating the Hall of Fames. It's why they shouldn't be doing the all-star games. It's why they shouldn't be the only ones commenting on the sports in general and gaslighting fans into being like Draymond Green or Kevin Durant or that stupid LeBron show where he sips wine with Steve Nash and tells everybody how stupid they are for commenting on the game. It's why we need the outside voices, because internally those guys, they miss a lot.
Yep, I would agree with you on that. You know what? I'm happy that he's going to rest, because just that whole series with the Yankees takes a lot on him. And I know they rested him. Him and Kirk had their rest day, but then they still had him pitch hit, which was kind of weird. So I feel like he hasn't had a proper rest day. I want to talk a little bit about basketball. So you're a Seattle Supersonics fan. You
Huge.
Well, you were, sorry. I'm sorry for saying that. So did you just get Supersonics games all the time growing up, kind of thing?
Yeah, I grew up on the the West Coast. I grew up in the Pacific time zone.
Yeah, so it was all, and this was before Raptors game? No, you still had Raptors were still a team.
I think I was in grade 1 when the Raptors became a basketball team.
Yeah.
Because I was living in Victoria as a little kid. And I have one weird, how when you try to remember your early childhood, you get these little snippet things.
Sure.
I remember there being my dad would listen to sports talk radio, and there was a radio show on what the name of the Grizzlies should be. And as a tiny little baby, I just remember caring about what the team would be called, right? So I can't remember what all the names were for the Grizzlies, but I do remember some faint memory of that. So yeah, when the Raptors and Grizzlies became a team, as a Canadian kid, you obviously rooted for them.
Yeah.
But my primary love was with the Seattle Supersonics. They were cooler. They were better. The Raptors sucked to start. Okay. I didn't live in Toronto and I didn't live in Vancouver. And when you're a kid, you cheer for, my little brother used to sing this song when we were kids. And he would go, whoever wins, I cheer for them. And that's
what you did as a kid.
Yeah, that's what you do as a kid. That's why they're Steph Curry fans, right? And so
I have a LeBron Heat jersey.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
A reason.
So I loved Gary Payton and Sean Kemp, and then Hersey Hawkins and Detlef Schrempf. These are all names that you have no idea of their existence.
I know the history. Come on.
Right. Yeah, you know Hersey Hawkins.
I don't know.
Yeah,
that name.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, I just loved the Seattle Supersonics. They were so cool. It was like 90s grunge. Seattle had a cool music movement.
Yeah.
The city itself, it had Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah,
They had Randy Johnson. It was just so appealing to a young kid to glom on to Seattle sports. And then you had who I think are probably two of the most forgotten great players. I guess part of them is like Stockton and Malone too, but that's also because Malone not the greatest guy. Turned out Karl Malone was kind of a piece of shit.
It's hard to talk about him when you talk about the great
piece of shit on. But it's like because they were West Coast players, right? Like people remember the 90s as Reggie Miller and outside of Jordan, they're like Reggie Miller and Patrick Ewing. But the 90s were the coolest team was the Seattle Supersonics. You talk to anybody my age, it's like they might, if they liked basketball, there's a good shot that they had a number 40 Sean Kemp Seattle Supersonics jersey. And if you go back even today and you watch his highlights, nobody was that size and moved like him. He was 6'10", ripped, and he was like Blake Griffin before Blake Griffin, but actually smoother and like a more complex mid-range game early in his career. And so I loved Sean Kemp. Dearly loved Sean Kemp, dearly loved Gary Payton, and then fell in love with Ray Allen, obviously. He was like in my late high school and university years. And when the team left, like, you know how it is as somebody who loves sports and anybody who's watching this or listening to this, you lose the Blue Jays. You lose, your New York Giants, obviously, back there. Yeah. It's like a part of you dies. It's like a piece of your childhood dies. So I will always hate the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'll always hate Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and I'll hate every member that won a championship with that team.
So wait, what about KD though? Because he was a part of your team, right? For a little bit.
It's a complicated relationship.
It's a weird relationship you got going on there.
I loved
KD. He never
KD.
won with the Thunder though, at least.
No, I loved KD when he was drafted as a rookie. I thought it was actually going to save the franchise and keep them in Seattle because I went, well, if when they won that lottery ball, I was in university. I remember running out in the streets and celebrating it.
Amazing, man.
And I always was KD over Greg Oden, so I was.
Okay, good.
No, I was like I remember I read an article on Greg Oden. Well, first of all, he didn't like play a ton in college, and he was a physical specimen. But Durant was fun and cool from the outset, and I was so excited to have him. Young, skinny KD playing point guard and small forward under PJ Carlissimo was painful because he was so great, but the rest of the team around him was like completely torn apart in order to make the transition easier to move them to Oklahoma City. But like, I don't know. He became a Thunder player. Like he was on the Thunder for years.
Yeah.
And then Durant, as much as I respect his game and think that if I had my life on the line and one guy to score a basket, in all time, I would choose Kevin Durant 11 times out of 10. I would never even bat an eye.
Wow, not Kobe, not Jordan, not
no,
LeBron,
not even close. No,
Stephen Curry nowadays.
No, not close. I'm taking the 7-foot guy who can shoot the lights out of the basketball like Kevin Durant and has the package that he has. He is one of the singularly most talented offensive players I've ever seen. I think he's greatly disrespected in terms of his legacy, but by his own fault. And the fact that he's never been able to, again, like to the point about athletes who are in it, understand the fan angle of it. He seems oblivious to the idea that because he went to Golden State and is hated for it, like doesn't get why that was.
Because he's always beefing people on Twitter and stuff.
Yeah, that part I don't even really mind. I think it's kind of funny.
You probably love that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
right?
I'm like, yeah, good for him. It's like he doesn't hide. It's better than him having burner accounts and getting exposed for it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't really love Durant. But I always did have a dream of like the Sonics eventually get a team back and then he closes his career there. And I don't think that's going to happen anymore because I think he's going to finish his career in Houston and this will be the final landing spot for him. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, I loved him. I did love him on the Thunder because I didn't have any connection to Seattle, obviously. But listen, when the day he went to the Warriors, it was any single NBA fan. If you liked him or you just didn't mind him, he became a villain. And obviously, as a Raptors fan, it was nice seeing our team beat him. Unfortunately, he was hurt, though, but it was pretty joyous. And
meanwhile, you do have a LeBron Miami Heat jersey hanging up, though, and you're like, I love that he joined Dwayne Wade.
LeBron is different.
Okay.
LeBron,
tell me how.
Okay, you know, so what LeBron did is,
Yeah.
listen, he had his years in Cleveland. He was
Yeah.
home. And then he joined D Wade, who
Yeah.
hadn't won since Shaq was there. So it's not like they were winning championships every year. And brought Chris Bosh, who was struggling in Toronto, not struggling, but Toronto was struggling with him, brought them in and created their own super team. My issue is the Warriors were already a super team without KD.
The Warriors did lose the year before, though.
They did lose,
And
but they won.
only
They won the year before. Yeah,
Yeah.
they won the year before that.
Sure, but that's the same thing with the Heat. Is Dwayne Wade won a championship a couple of years before
With
LeBron.
Shaq, though. With Shaq.
Sure, I'm not discounting
That's
that.
fine.
That's like saying, but even still, with the Warriors, it's like they had one championship. They weren't a dynasty yet.
Mm-hmm.
They won 73 regular season games, but they didn't win a championship. Miami, Dwayne Wade at the time was the unquestionable second best player on the planet.
Yeah.
The questions were, is it LeBron or is it D Wade? When he joined that team, there was a conversation of whose team is it? And that's why they were clunky in year one, is LeBron was still trying to defer to Wade in a lot of big moments in these games. So I actually think Durant has been one of the most useful tools in LeBron's legacy in terms of the way he did join the Heat, because the difference is that Golden State beat Oklahoma City the year before Durant left. Mm-hmm. And it was in heartbreaking fashion. The Game 6 Klay Thompson game where he rattled in a million threes in a comeback victory and snatched defeat from the clutches of the Thunder. One of my favorite games ever. But no, I think both guys went and made super teams and joined super teams, and that when we look at their legacies, LeBron's doesn't get hit enough because Kevin Durant gets all the smoke for being the guy who went and joined somebody else's team.
But the thing with LeBron, too, is that he did go back to Cleveland, which I think...
Sure, when they were good again and when he could pivot it into another championship.
Hold on. Good, him and Kyrie. Tristan Thompson was their starting center. I don't know if I would consider them a great team at that point.
They traded for Kevin Love, who at the time was one of the best 3-4 power forwards in all of basketball. They had Kyrie Irving, a first overall pick.
Kyrie was
and
great,
they had just won the lottery with another first-round pick, 2 in a row, to be able to go out and make those moves to acquire those players. No, LeBron's calculated. Like, same thing, went to L.A. when they could go out and acquire Anthony Davis. Knew he was going to do that from the beginning. I don't think that, again, this diminishes LeBron's greatness as a player, much like I don't think it diminishes Kevin Durant's. But I've just always found it a little funny that LeBron gets the cover of Durant as the guy who everyone hated the decision. Everyone criticized LeBron for going to Dwayne Wade's team. And then Durant happened, and nobody talks about that angle of LeBron anymore. They're like, he did it the right way. I'm like, no, he did it first.
You know, a part of me, though, too, I will say, is that I was new to basketball when LeBron joined the Heat. I was a little kid. So maybe maybe millennials find it different, but the Gen Z, when LeBron started playing, I was a toddler, you know?
Yeah, I like this angle, is that what you're saying is Gen Z doesn't know anything, and I agree.
No, I'm saying we didn't live it. We didn't live it.
For sure.
So it's different living the KD. You know, I'm already a teenager. I have a phone, and I see Kevin Durant to the freaking Warriors. LeBron, I think my very first Raptors game was LeBron on the Heat in
cool.
Toronto. So that's where I'm going to leave it at that. But you are correct with the KD has helped LeBron's legacy of being a respected player, because what KD did seemed worse, and I'll still stand by the fact that I feel it's
KD
worse.
did worse. He did worse. But it's not so much worse that with Kevin Durant's legacy, we're always like, well, those championships don't even count. He has to win it on his own. Versus LeBron, who, yes, 2016 is the most impressive championship I can remember.
Oh, yeah.
But also, he did win with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh in their primes.
Then Ray Allen's three-pointer.
Yeah, and he won with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love in their primes, and then he won with Anthony Davis in his prime. And with Kevin Durant, people are like, those ones don't count. And with LeBron's, we're like, yeah, flash the rings.
Yeah, I want to talk more basketball still.
Sure.
I really love this debate, and I think we can have a full episode on a LeBron and KD, the legacies and ruining, which is so great. I got to talk a little about Raptors, though. Obviously, Toronto sports. How are you happy? Because I haven't heard you talk about the draft with myself. I mean, Colin Murray Boyles and Elijah Martin. Are you hopeful for this next season, or is this again a rebuilding season? Want to draft early, and we need another superstar kind of thing?
I'm fine with the pick.
Yeah.
I definitely thought they were going to take Malawak. And then it's revealed that Masai Ujiri was leaving, and you go, oh, okay. This pick makes a little bit more sense because Malawak was right up his alley. And so I don't mind it. I think it's like, it's a little safe in that spot. It's a little unsexy where you're going, oh, we're getting the defensive guy, and people are making the Draymond Green comparisons. You're like, yeah, but they got Draymond Green in the second round. And yeah, he turned into a Hall of Fame player, but you're supposed to go for the defensive guys later in the draft rather than earlier. I'm a little concerned about how his scoring package translates to the NBA, and whether or not he's going to be another clunky shooter on a team that I think has really struggled to have an offense around Scotty Barnes where he can just kind of do his thing, get to the paint, and then distribute. So I wouldn't say it's like an A++ pick, but they kind of got screwed with the lottery situation in the first place where it bumped them out of the range where they were going to get, in my opinion, one of those A++ guys. So it's a safe pick. It's a fine pick. I'm optimistic about him. I'm certainly not going to write off a career of a lottery player. So I think that it'll probably be fine. In terms of the team itself, they better not be a lottery team because they're the 12th most expensive roster in all of basketball. And that comes with an implication that you are going to be competitive. The East is wide open. There's no Tyrese Halliburton next year. There's no Jason Tatum next year. You look at who's supposed to be like the juggernaut of the Eastern Conference. It's like, all right, the Knicks now with Mike Brown at the helm?
The Cavs.
Sure, but like
Lonzo Ball and the Cavs.
Yeah, the Magic are supposed to take a big step forward. My expectation is that the Raptors are very good. Disappointment.
And you're okay with us not getting a superstar? Like we thought we were going to get Giannis for a while?
I'd love to get a superstar.
Yeah.
Like,
Did
clearly.
you think we were going to get Giannis for a while? Or do you still think it?
My position on Giannis was I was glad to have Masai Ujiri for that because he's a visionary who I thought could have sold Giannis on the city. He's also a aggressive president who would have tried to make that move happen, even with the risk involved with it. And ultimately, if they could have used Scotty Barnes in a trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo, I thought that was a pretty competitive piece in comparison to the rest of the NBA landscape and what they were going to be willing to offer for that player. That still is on the table. Yeah. I'm just not sure how much would be left around Giannis to make it overly attractive for the Raptors or for, more importantly, Giannis and the Bucks if they want to make it work.
Yeah.
So I didn't think he was going to come here. I'd love for them to be able to acquire another superstar, but you look at the Thunder, and I think that this is the new model of the NBA, or even the Boston Celtics who won before them, or even the Denver Nuggets. Like, who were their stars? They weren't guys that they traded for. They weren't guys, or actually, I guess Shea was traded for, but it was on his rookie deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're guys that were essentially drafted and developed, and they hit on star players like, Jalen Williams, like Jaylen Brown, like Jamal
Alex
Murray.
Caruso, I got a shout out.
Well, Caruso though is like the Drew Holiday thing, where it's like you build a good team full of young players that coalesce,
finding a guy,
and then you can trade for those veterans that are fringy all-star types that can put you over the top. Drew Holiday obviously being better than Caruso, but even still, like those guys were like comparable in terms of defensive stud veteran players. So
it's like build the young guys and then find some vets to kind of
or
bring them up a little bit if you need the vets, or you stick with the Thunder young team and have one old guy kind of
right.
thing.
The problem with the Raptors is that I don't see the ceiling of their young guys being the same as those other organizations.
That's
I think Scotty Barnes is very good. I don't think Scotty Barnes is ever going to be the best player on a championship-winning team. And some people will take that as a slight to him. I don't really care that those people feel that way. It's just my opinion. I think Brandon Ingram is very injury-prone and might not end up being the smoothest fit with his team. But even still, the 1-2 punch of Barnes and Brandon Ingram doesn't move me and think, okay, well, this is a championship-winning team as a 1-2 punch. Quickly has been a bust so far. Could he be better? Yep. But again, he's overpaid for what he provides this team. He has not proven he can be a starting point guard. I think Jakob Poeltl's very good. Again, not a superstar, not even an all-star. RJ Barrett, very good season, but going to be interesting to see how he fits in with this team moving forward. Again, Grady Dick, I don't think is going to be a superstar in the league, going to be a sharpshooter. Colin Murray-Boyles, like I mentioned, don't think is going to be an NBA all-star kind of player. I think he's just going to be a very good role player. So yeah, when I look at their team, they have a lot of depth with their assets. They've hit on some guys. There's a lot to like, but yeah, it still does feel like they are a team that at some point is going to need to make an aggressive move for that superstar player, because the model of build two young stars like the Denver Nuggets did or the Boston Celtics did and the Oklahoma City Thunder did as the most recent champions, to me does not look like the outlook for the Raptors' future.
Yeah, and I think it'll be a while till we get those days again. And I was hot on Giannis. I really thought we were going to get him, but obviously after this firing, those dreams kind of went away. I do want to talk about another Toronto sporting team, the Maple Leafs. I have a question from my cousin Adam Kula. Shout out to him. Told him you were coming on the show. Huge fan of you. Listens to your show all the time. Adam. He really wanted me to ask you this. And he, with the Maple Leafs, obviously it's been an off season for the team, right? Signings, trades, playoff disappointment. How should the Leafs go about repairing their relationship with the fan base after the year that they had?
I think it's extremely complicated. I wish I had a quick fix answer for this or something that felt realistic to me. One is that I think it's going to be difficult for the Leafs to repair their relationship with the fans to a certain degree because it has become very corporate.
Yep.
And
that's what the Raptors look like too now.
Yeah, right. But the barrier for entry for these games is so unbelievably expensive that it prices out a lot of families and real fans from going consistently. So you end up with these corporate suites and these expensive tickets that become an event rather than
Everyone's
a
in
passionate.
Their seats in the 100.
Yeah, exactly. And
Business.
so people are like, "Why is it so quiet in this arena?" And you're like, "It's because these people aren't deeply invested in the product. They're there to be able to say they were there, rather than to root on their team." And so I think that there's already a little bit of fan frustration with the idea of, okay, well, if we're getting priced out of the building, at least show a way that you care about us. But with this Core 4 era, which now is over with Mitch Marner departing, you want to feel like those players care about you to a certain degree. And yeah, some of that's unfair because a lot of modern athletes, they have social media, they have different ways of fan outreach, they do charitable stuff, they try to do their media obligation, but you want to feel like it's a civic product. You want to feel like they represent the city, that they represent the region, and that they understand and care deeply about a fan base that has made them the most expensive hockey team in the NHL. And I don't think that comes with a couple of promotions. I don't think that comes with the odd, like, Austin Matthews saying, or what Nylander said at his media conference, where he's like, "Oh, I love this city. It's like my second home." You go, like, elaborate on this. Like, sometimes people want you to be a little romantic about the Maple Leafs.
The Blue Jays have done that. When I go to a Jays game, there's promotion nights all the time. Yep. Jerseys, bobbleheads, you name it, tickets, events. Not, obviously if you sit higher up, seats are going to be cheaper. But also the way that these guys talk about playing for Toronto. They love being here. Vladdy in Springer, a vet, said that he wanted to be in Toronto. And there's a very big disconnect between the Blue Jays and the Leafs of the way that they treat their fans.
But that's also because the real fans get in the building at the Rogers Center. Like, true. You can get an accessible ticket there.
Definitely.
They've gone up in certain sections, like, my seats.
Yeah.
But
I was in pretty nice seats for Canada Day. They were a gift to me, though.
Yeah.
But if I'm going with my friends, who aren't into they want to sit higher up, but which is great though. You can walk around. There's so much to do at Rogers Center. There's all kinds of
concourse areas. There's all kinds of fan
bars,
engagement areas. Yep,
lounges,
it's awesome.
Leafs games. You're stuck in your seat if you can afford to even get in.
Yep.
And then you also don't have that energy coming back to you. From the players, as you said.
But that's what I'm saying is I don't think that the players ever get to really truly feel the energy and support of the fan base in the way that they do. So it's like this two-pronged issue of the players don't truly get a great look at how loved they actually are Because social media is complete bullshit. Like, you look on social media, that's why people are like, and look how Marner's treated. I'm like, shut up.
Yeah.
Everyone gets treated poorly on social media.
Yeah.
There's no person on earth that's like, I'm the most popular one. Like, they're not.
No.
It's a ratio difference of how hated you are, essentially.
Yeah.
How
and
much
also,
negative.
they get private DMs too, some of these guys.
Of course.
You don't even see.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, you're going to see toxic stuff on social media, but you go out in the real world and you meet people and you're involved in the community of your Toronto Maple Leaf, you're going to feel love back. You're going to see kids that want their jerseys signed by you. And that was always my Marner thing, is like, he was the most popular player with kids in the city, and yet it never seemed like they appreciated that whatsoever, or ever spoke about that, or made more of an effort to be a part of
being a hometown kid.
Right.
Too.
Showing up at little local arenas from time to time and, like, giving that kind of an effort. I'm sure there were things in silence that happened, but to me, they should be louder, especially when they are a local player that understands the value of those pieces and got what it was like growing up cheering for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So I think that there's a responsibility top down within the organization to do more fan outreach, to be more transparent with the media. And by proxy, that's the fans. Like, the media is supposed to be the medium between the players and the fan base.
Yeah.
So I've never viewed it as like, I want it for the media because it's for the clicks, like some people think. It's like, no. You're supposed to be able to have it as a conduit to talk to fans. And whenever players try to do it on their own, it's clunky and PR filled, and it's the way they want to portray it. It's not good. So you do need that media. Like, is every media member great? No. Like, I have my flaws. A lot of guys have their flaws. But ultimately, that needs to be better. Their media relations, their ticket sales, the way that the fans or the team understands the history of the Toronto Maple Leafs and what it means to the city of Toronto and the GTA. There's just, it's so vast, the issues, that it's, like I said to start it, it's really hard to pinpoint one thing where it's like, well, this will make it better. It's a whole collection of things. But I do think that from the player's standpoint, winning fixes a lot, right? Like, you go out there and you win hockey games.
Yeah.
But if you lose and you gave your absolute best effort, the fan base is smart enough to be able to recognize it.
Yeah.
Like, this city cares a lot about hockey, and there are multiple generations of people that have watched the games. The Leafs didn't win in the 2000s, right? They didn't win in the 90s. But those teams are talked about glowingly because no one ever questioned their effort or their care for wearing the maple leaf. And this is kind of the first team in a while that those questions have come into play, and you've gone, hey, do you care more about your contract than you do about playing here?
Yeah.
If you get $1 less, are you going to want to be a Toronto Maple Leaf?
And that's why so many guys are loving John Tavares for taking that pay cut to stay here. So there's a lot that we need, that fans need from them. But I do love your answer and the question. Shout out Adam Kula again, my cousin, huge.
Yeah, way to go, Adam.
Huge fan of you. I told him you were coming on my show. He's like, no way, please ask this. He's like, breaking news, by the way, Oklahoma City Thunder Jalen Williams agrees to a 5-year rookie max worth up to $287 million. Just happened right now.
Pay them all so that they have to break them up.
Deserved. Okay, I gotta let you go because I've kept you on way too long. But you are a Seahawks fan. I really want to end it with some football here. Sure. You are a Seahawks fan. I have to. Okay, well, first of all, God, I could have you on for 2 more hours, man. Okay, I'm gonna pick one though. But you do have to come on again soon though, so I can finish this up. Okay. What made the bigger impact on you? The joy of watching the Seahawks win the Super Bowl in 2014, or the heartbreak of watching them lose in 2015?
Heartbreak, no question, not even close.
It's got to be the worst heartbreak in Super Bowl history. Well, other than maybe Falcons-Patriots, but...
No, that's... Falcons-Patriots, death by 1,000 paper cuts. Ours, just the shock and pain of the moment. But, yeah, no, I don't even... I have a fake banner hanging in my office here for the Seahawks in 2014. I don't care. I'm glad, and I know that frustrates people that have gone no Super Bowls. Like, if you're a Browns fan, you're like, how could you ever say that? It's like, they were supposed to be back-to-back champs. They were going to beat the Patriots. It was going to start a dynasty. It unraveled the entire team. It screwed the entire operation. The defense, the offense started to hate each other. Russell Wilson, all of it. It can be pointed to one moment where they don't hand the ball off to one of the greatest goal line backs in the history of the NFL. And so, I think about that all the time. I never think about being Peyton Manning. Oh, I hate it. It breaks my heart. Yeah, it's the worst. It's other than the Sonics leaving, it's the most painful moment that I have as a sports fan, far greater than even some of the Leafs defeats. Because like I've never, maybe the Leafs when I was a kid against Carolina in the Eastern Conference Final, that was the worst because they were better than Carolina and they just should have. It was tight series and all the games were tight and they kept swinging Carolina's way. But yeah, those would be the three. Carolina lost Eastern Conference Finals 0-2, Marshawn Lynch, and Sonics leaving.
And Russell Wilson now is on my team, on my Giants.
Enjoy.
Do you anything? Do you think
No,
he's gonna do anything?
enjoy. Yeah, really enjoy. You'll have the best time. What's his catchphrase?
I think it's still his normal, his always. What was his
No,
catchphrase?
he had with Seahawks, he would let and everything with Go Hawks.
No,
And then
but
he had Broncos Country, Let's Ride.
I feel like I've heard him say "Let's ride" though at training camp. Still, I don't know if he has a new.
No, he's
thing.
not doing. He can't do Let's Ride because that's the Broncos thing.
I know. I don't know if I don't think he has one yet. Maybe he's played
Yeah,
with a
maybe
couple
he
different
hasn't.
ones.
Maybe I don't know if you're as big a Giants fan as you
No,
thought.
I got.
Hold on, just Google it. Like, go to his Instagram page because if it's or his Twitter page. Let's do this quickly.
Listen, I've been really high on Jackson Dart though, which might be a part of that as well. With me not
he
following
might be
too much.
dumb as a rock, but yeah, he.
No, he's our guy. Listen, your Seahawks are.
He's doing Go Giants. That's boring. That's it.
just
Go Giants.
Oh, so that's why. Yeah, I don't think that's a catchphrase. That's.
No, yeah, did Go Hawks, but now it's Go Giants and
I like
hashtag
that.
level
Let's
up.
ride. We have to figure something out. I gotta let you go. You've been on. I told
Yeah,
you 20
thank you.
minutes, and this is an hour, so this kind of kept you on
It's all
little,
good. It's
little
all good.
too long. But
I do the same thing.
I want to talk dude. I have so much Seahawks stuff. Cooper Kupp, DK Metcalf gone, Leafs. Thank you though so much, JD
problem.
man, for coming on. Once again, JD Bunkis. You find you on Twitter and Instagram at JD Bunkis. Sportsnet. You have the JD Bunkis show 9 to 10 every morning.
Yeah, subscribe to the podcast and then and Leafs talk as well.
Leafs talk as well, and then yeah, you're always busy, man. And dude, appreciate you coming on. I hope to hear a different "It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia" ranking though soon.
You won't.
You gotta put.
I won't.
You gotta watch a compilation. Hey, you talk about the Charlie episode when with the underground fighting. Dee's storyline was funnier than that.
It was great.
Where she gets
But it
addicted.
wasn't funnier. It wasn't funnier. It
You're
wasn't
killing
funnier.
me.
It
Dude,
wasn't funnier.
You're killing
Charlie
me.
was better. Charlie was better. Getting
Both
hit with the
were
trash
great,
can.
man.
Do it again. Yeah, like that's the training.
So funny.
Yeah, it was
It's so
really
funny.
great.
All right, but again, man, appreciate you coming on. Really,
Of course.
really do. I love your show. I love everything you're doing. Huge fan myself. Once again, give it up for JD Bunkis. And if you enjoyed the episode, please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.